Liberty, how are you?
I am doing good.
Good. Okay. So what year are you? We'll start with I'll get to know you just a minute.
Okay.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade. Okay. What are your plans after high school? Do you have any yet?
Well, my parents are gonna well, I'm kind of confused if I want to be in the program that will help me get a job basically
Oh, cool.
and stuff like that. I don't know. Talk to my dad a little bit about it, but I'm just like confused and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, well, high school can be confusing. Post high school is even more confusing sometimes. So, yeah. Alrighty. So what kind of questions do you have for me? I have as a guide, I have the ones that you sent me. Oh, you disappeared. I have the ones that you sent me earlier in the week. Um, but I'll just kind of let you ask what you need to ask and what you're curious about.
Okay. So like what advice would you give me, a high school student preparing for my future?
Preparing for your future. Well, I would definitely tell you to take advice from others. I think that that is one of the things that that really helped me make all of my decisions. Is there are people much wiser than I am who have lived a lot more life than I have, that give me advice. But also I think, you know, life gets really hard. And so I think you also need to, in order to prepare for your future, have a solid foundation about knowing who you are. I think that's really important, and also having just kind of a like a village, right? You need to have a good support system. So developing a support system and knowing who you are, it would be kind of where to start.
So, did you have to go to college for your career?
So yes and no. So I have two jobs, two full-time jobs, that are kind of in this yoked in the same circle. So I'm a pastor at a church. And I also work for the denomination. And so there's about 200 churches that I work with to do all of their mission money and do all of their communications and all of their youth stuff. So there are pastors who never went to college that just kind of started pastoring a church. But then in order to do my denomination thing, I needed to go to college. But then I also plan on teaching at a college, teaching other pastors how to be pastors. So in that, I will also need to get a higher degree, which I'm currently working on right now.
What factors helped you choose your college?
I only this is not good advice. Okay, so I only applied to one college. Um, I applied to Sterling College. So I when I was in high school, I really loved music and theater. And I was really big into it, wanted to do it full time. And so Sterling College, which is where I started college at, came to this high school, and their choir came and sang, and I talked to them after. And then Miss Bain kind of helped me develop a portfolio of different song styles and choices, and I auditioned and I got a scholarship and I got in. um that's not good advice to just apply to one college. You definitely should have all options. But I just kind of took it on faith, and I just said, hey, if this college doesn't get in, I'll figure something else out. I was just lucky enough that I did get in. But that factor was part of it. Another part of it was it wasn't too far from home. I still wanted to be close enough that, like, if there was an emergency, I could have my mom, but I was still independent, and my family had moved from Elkhart to a different town in Kansas, and it was about 3 hours. So that was kind of in that sweet spot. So that was another thing. And they also had the degree path that I wanted. Um, when I first discovered Sterling, when they came to the high school, they had all of the things that I wanted in a college already displayed. So I didn't have to search, which is not that's not common. Most people, do some searching. It just happened that way for me.
What factors helped you choose your career?
So I when I was when I lived in Elkhart, when I was in high school, I every Wednesday after school, I would go to the church and I would do Wednesday night kids, and then I would go to church every Sunday, and then I would do Sunday evening youth group. And I really liked being involved in the church, and I didn't know I wanted to be a pastor. I thought maybe I wanted to be a teacher. I wasn't sure kind of what I wanted to do yet. And then right after I graduated high school, the church that I was going to there in Elkhart, Church of God, needed a secretary, and they also didn't have a youth pastor anymore. So I became the youth leader for the middle school girls. There's only about 5 of them, but I said that I would take that role on. So I was the church secretary and I was the middle school youth leader the summer before my senior year of high school. And after that summer, I decided I wanted to work in the church full time. And so instead of going for education, I went for theology and ministry.
Can you explain to me what you do in detail?
Yeah, so I'll give you both of them. So on the job I'm currently at right now in this at this moment, I work for the American Baptist churches of the Central Region. So the American Baptists have over 2 million churches in the world. And they're set up into regions. And so I'm in the Central Region. So it's 200 churches in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. So what happens is I do all of our social media pages. I built our website, which that's why all of your computer classes are important, because you never know when you're going to have to do that. I built our website. I run all of our youth programming. So we teach high schoolers how to be leaders. So I run that programming, and I also run all of our summer camps. But then churches send me their money, and I send it to different missionaries, to different institutions, to different people who they're sending their money to, like as donations. And so I field all of that, and I do all of the finances. I pay the bills that we get, incoming bills. I write checks to people who need different kinds of support. And then at the church, every Wednesday I do Bible study. I teach our Bible study. And then I preach most Sundays. And in doing that, there's lots of preparation in the week. But I also work with 2 different institutions here in Topeka Jump Justice Unity Ministry Project, and then the Topeka Center for Peace and Justice as a clergy representative. But I teach people about the Bible and about Christ. And I also I'm in school still. I'm in seminary, working on my Master's of Divinity degree, but it's a yoked thing. So I'll also get my Doctorate of Ministry just a few years after I get the 2nd degree. So I also do that. And I also, I'm currently in this new position where I'm teaching churches how to be handicap accessible. And not just accessible, but fully integrated, where I teach churches you can get a wheelchair in this building, but they can't get up to the choir loft to join the choir. So teaching churches and church institutions how to fully envelop people who are differently abled.
Are there any influential people in Elkhart that guided you to your career?
Oh, yes. Miss Houts, of course, was very influential. In terms of getting me to college, Mrs. Bain was really influential. She worked with me all through high school to help me develop my singing voice, and also encouraged me to pursue it in college. All of the teachers in Elkhart were always influential. I wasn't the best student. I struggled a lot with school because of my home life and the things that I kind of was going through silently that no one knew about. And so I put school on the back burner, but none of them gave up on me. Not one teacher did. And to their credit, I then was able to go into college. And then I actually, because they didn't give up on me, I was able to graduate top of my class in college and continue to get a higher education. But also, they no longer live in Elkhart, but Gary Murrell and Fanny Murrell were the pastors at the church where I attended. And Gina Schultz was the youth pastor, the first youth pastor that I was with. And they really helped grew helped to grow who I was as a young disciple. Tony Siebels, who is also no longer in Elkhart, was there, but also the police department. My mom was a police officer there. Um, so Bill Kraber, who was also the wrestling coach when I was there, was really influential for me, as well as the Workmeisters, who again are no longer there. Apparently, everyone has kind of left Elkhart. Were also pretty influential people for me. I had some really bad depression in high school, and so the Workmeisters were really there for me in those times. But also, I had really great friends in high school that were influential in guiding me to things. So I actually didn't go to church my freshman year of high school until one of the seniors invited me to come to church with her. Her name was Jess Myers. So she was super influential to me as well as Jasmine, who kind of guided me through my first year of high school and helped me realize that being different wasn't a bad thing. So they were all pretty important to me.
So, what was your graduation year?
I graduated in 2014.
What made you proud to be a Wildcat while in high school?
Um, really just being in Elkhart. I mean, I Elkhart was a bigger school to me than where I came from. So there were a lot more opportunities, and I think that the high school and Elkhart really did a good job at providing opportunities for students. Also, I am an amputee. I'm differently abled, and so they didn't ever tell me I couldn't do something. If I wanted to do a sport, they made it adaptable to where I could do sports. So that really makes me proud.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.